Hi friends, my name is Kayla Rayne, and today I'm going to give you 5 reasons as to why you should read I'll Meet You There by Heather Demetrios. So just a quick non-spoiler run through of I'll Meet You There. This is a YA contemporary that follows 2 main characters, but it is mostly followed from the point of view from our main character Sky, who is a recent high school graduate and is navigating her final summer in her small town before she heads off on a full scholarship to college in San Francisco, where she's going for art. However, she is kind of caught up in her small town life and wondering whether or not it's a good idea to leave because there are so many things that she feels are holding her back, like her poverty and her mother who has a substance use disorder, her best friends who are choosing very different lives for themselves, and she also starts to fall for an old coworker who has recently returned from a tour in Afghanistan with an amputated leg and PTSD. As we navigate the story, we see that Sky has a really difficult time struggling with all of these different things in her life, and she tries to decide whether or not it would be a good idea for her to move and even go to college or stay in the life that she already knows and try to fix the things that she feels are broken. So reason number 1 you should read I'll Meet You There is the discussion on poverty. This is something that I feel is so glossed over in YA books, and just seeing it talked about so openly and honestly in this book was very refreshing and definitely made me feel like the author either experienced this or did her research well. There was a discussion of poverty with the main character, and it definitely changed how her narration went because she had to make certain decisions based on what was in her budget, and she had to make certain choices about her job and her personal life that she knew ultimately would affect how the rest of her life would go if she misstepped even once because of the money issues that she struggles with. And that is something that I think is very much glossed over in YA, and there are so many adolescents in the United States and around the world right now that do live in poverty and don't have the luxury of living these fantastic lives that we see in typical YA books. They can definitely live fantastic, great, wonderful lives and have these amazing stories, but it's not quite as simple as your parents shipping you off to an amazing boarding school. So seeing that narrative was really nice, and just having that open and honest discussion about poverty I felt was really important. Reason number 2 for reading I'll Meet You There. There is such a good discussion on substance use disorder, and in this particular case it is coming from the point of view of a child and parent relationship with Sky's mother having a substance use disorder, and just seeing that conversation done so respectfully without sugarcoating it or demonizing it was so important. Sky's mother has so much more character to her than just having a substance use disorder. She isn't portrayed as some monstrous mother who doesn't love her daughter or someone who is completely dependent on alcohol to function and doesn't have anything else going on outside of her life, which is such a disservice when I see that type of representation for substance use disorder in YA. So seeing that done here so respectfully was just really fantastic. And if you're ever curious about respectful and good representation for substance use disorder, if it's something that you're not sure about, I would definitely check out this book because it does it so well in my personal opinion. Reason number 3, this book talks about disability, both physical and mental disabilities, and it does it so respectfully. One of the main characters, Josh, who is a returning soldier from a tour in Afghanistan, has an amputated leg and is also struggling with PTSD, and this discussion and narrative in the book is done so respectfully and honestly, and it is just such a big part of Josh's character, but at the same time it's not the only piece to Josh's character. And it's so important to see narratives that recognize disability and mental illness as a piece to identity, but not the only defining factor. And seeing that really great narrative here with Josh in particular was just really great to see. Reason number 4 to read I'll Meet You There. This book discusses relationships so well, whether it's discussing a romantic relationship or a family relationship or just a regular friendship. This was just done so well. I really enjoyed the different explorations of the relationship between Sky and her mother, especially at the beginning of the summer and the end of the summer when Sky is deciding whether or not she wants to move on with her life from her small town leaving her mother behind or if she needs to stay there. There's also a really great exploration of Sky's relationship with Josh, and I think that it really navigated it well because there was so much potential for this to be a poor represented relationship that could have had abusive elements to it, but it didn't, and it navigated that so well and had an open discussion about it. And it was just done in such a respectful way. And I really enjoyed the discussion of friendship in this novel, especially with it being a coming-of-age story, with Sky deciding whether or not she wants to move from her small town, with the possibility of leaving one of her closest friends behind who feels like she might be stuck there for the rest of her life. And just having that discussion and seeing that relationship have its ups and downs was really important, and I think that just seeing relationships that have their really great moments and then their darker moments was important to see without romanticizing abuse or arguments or anything like that. It just did it in such a realistic manner. And finally, reason number 5 to read I'll Meet You There is the fact that this is such a beautiful coming-of-age story. And I'm not going to go too in-depth in this because I feel like I've really explained myself on the other points as to how this is such a good coming-of-age story. But it's one of those books that I read and I felt like I could have been Sky as an adolescent. I saw so many pieces of myself represented in that book, and to me that shows that the author has done such a great job of capturing what it's like to kind of move on from adolescence to adulthood and just that narrow gap that you get between high school and either going off to college or finding your first job or moving out. That's such a big transition, and it's such a scary transition, and seeing that exploration here in the story was just so fantastic, and it just felt so realistic to me. But if I haven't convinced you to read this story yet, I don't know how else I can. I will definitely link a video that my friend Caitlin did on this book as to why you should read it, and maybe she can convince you, but this was just such a good YA contemporary, and I cannot wait to purchase it and add it to my collection. I will leave links in the down bar below for you guys to check out my other social media sites such as Goodreads, Twitter, Instagram, and Litsy, and hopefully I will see you guys on there. As always, thank you so much for watching. Stay weird.